He's Australia's most wanted man and the most elusive.
This person is a murderer. He has shot to avoid apprehension, and we consider him extremely dangerous.
The Hells Angels have engaged in various criminal activities, including drug trafficking, extortion, prostitution, and weapons offences. They have also been involved in violent incidents, such as the Great Nordic Biker War in the 1990s, which saw armed clashes with the Bandidos across several countries. For years, this battle has been brewing among the Angels. When asked how he wants to die, one member said he hopes to avoid it, as long as no one shoots at him. A month later, he was dead. Now think about the leaders of the club. They are constantly worried about maintaining their power. But one leader is ahead of his time. We are talking about Frank Hanebuth. Frank Hanebuth is a unique figure, able to be both a gangster and a gourmet, a rare combination in his world. However, the biker scene has changed drastically over the years, and Frank has faced many challenges during this time. He is undeniably the most famous Hells Angel in Germany, bridging the gap between the underground and mainstream society. Frank's social circle includes influential people like his lawyer, Götz von Fromberg, who was also the best man at former Chancellor Gerhard Schröder's wedding. Frank has created a Hells Angels-themed lifestyle, complete with his own beer, cigarettes, and Harley-Davidson culture, earning him the nickname Mayor of Nightlife. His events in the red light district attract tens of thousands of people, with sponsors like Beck's Beer and the Bild newspaper and city approval. The police have been unable to take significant action against him due to a lack of evidence of specific crimes. Frank has also built a strong economic presence, making it difficult for authorities to challenge him. The big questions now are whether Frank can continue to move freely in Germany, how he will handle internal conflicts within his gang, and if he will compromise or defend his position as Europe's most powerful Hells Angel without mercy. The conflict between the Bandidos and the Hells Angels is a fierce and violent fight for power and territory. Both motorcycle clubs are determined to come out on top, leading to a trail of violence and destruction. This ongoing battle shows no signs of stopping. In 2007, when the war between the Hells Angels and the Bandidos began, Frank Hanebuth became a target for investigators. To quickly bolster their numbers, the Hells Angels recruited many young men, which soon caused trouble for Hanebuth. One of these recruits, Stefan R., became a key witness to reduce his own sentence for human trafficking. He claimed that the missing Turkish man Tekin B had been tortured and killed by the Hells Angels in a car repair shop. When asked if he ordered the hit, Hanebuth denied it, calling the story false. Despite the lack of evidence to support Stefan R.'s claims, he got a reduced sentence, though it was later revealed he was unreliable. Some police had warned about this beforehand. During a raid on Hanebuth's property, special forces shot his dog. Hanebuth believed this was unnecessary, as he would have cooperated if the police had simply asked. Beneath his tough exterior, Hanebuth was likely saddened by his dog's death. He faces power struggles within his gang, pressure from law enforcement, and betrayal from his own ranks, putting his life in constant danger. How far will Frank Hanebuth go to protect his money, power, and status? What risks is he willing to take to survive? In 2013, he moved from Hanover to Mallorca, a Mediterranean island in Spain. Rumor has it that he was tired of Hanover's cold, grey streets and wanted a fresh start. But was the nice weather, palm trees, and beaches the real reason for his move? Or was it another step to gain more money, power, and glory? Will his presence on the Spanish islands spark international conflict and bloodshed in one of Europe's biggest party cities? The sunny beaches in Mallorca seemed like an ideal spot for him to expand his influence, away from the watchful eyes of German law enforcement. However, things didn't go as planned. Shortly after his arrival, Spanish police arrested him at a friend's estate. He faced charges of drug trafficking, money laundering, and prostitution. Hanebuth went into custody, leaving a power vacuum among the Hells Angels in Germany. Spanish authorities investigate Frank Hanebuth for 3 years, but don't find enough evidence to charge him. In September 2016, he is allowed to visit Hanover for a week to celebrate his 52nd birthday. On his 50th, he was still in a high-security prison in Spain. Happy to be home, Frank says they'll have an extraordinary birthday celebration, going full throttle. Hundreds of Hell's Angels, friends, and business partners welcome him back in the district, where he started as a pub landlord over 30 years ago, eventually rising to the top of the European Hell's Angels. The power struggle in the biker scene is set to continue. Will Frank be able to maintain his position after his time away, or will his enemies finally take him down? The Hell's Angels, known for their loyalty and brotherhood, have a history of harshly punishing those who betray them or step out of line. How strong is this brotherhood, and how far will it go? What happens when wealth and power take precedence over honor and loyalty, perhaps even more than the life of a fellow Hell's Angel? A former hooligan from East Berlin learns firsthand that biker brotherhoods can be anything but brotherly. Being a Hell's Angel means being a free-spirited rebel to me, he says. But it also means provoking and shocking polite society. At that time, his president was Holger Bostrom, nicknamed Hacko, one of the most powerful Hell's Angels. In 2008, Hacko was expelled for allegedly embezzling money. Hacko wanted to rejoin the club, but Anders Sommer wanted to prevent that. Was Hacko kicked out for stealing from the club? No comment, they say. On June 10, 2012, a killer with a Sig Sauer 9mm headed to Zingsterstrasse in the East Berlin district of Hohenschönhausen, where the club president parked his motorcycle. Out of the bushes stepped Oleg Serkasov, a 36-year-old Ukrainian. The first shot missed the heart by half an inch but injured the pericardium. Further shots pierced the 400-pound man's chest, yet he remained conscious, as the major blood vessels were unharmed. Another shot hit his abdomen and liver, narrowly missing the abdominal aorta by 2 centimeters. The final shot hit his 12th thoracic vertebra. A centimeter closer would have severed his spinal cord, resulting in paralysis. Holger Bostrom and Michael Dolly, nicknamed Russian Michael, were behind the attack. Bostrom admitted to investigators that the attack was meant to teach Anders Sommer a lesson. Bostrom was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison for attempted incitement to murder. Despite the brutal attack, Sommer recovered surprisingly well and gained even more respect within the club. What happens when personal disputes among Hell's Angels escalate into large-scale conflicts within the club? How far will veteran members go to defend their power against newcomers? How many violent rockers does it take for a coup? For about a decade, many men with migration backgrounds have joined the Frankfurt chapter of the Hell's Angels. One of the first members with foreign roots was Ihsan Mukuk, a Turk. The leader of the Frankfurt Angels, Walter Burkhardt, known as Schnitzel Walter, due to his past as a butcher, is said to have become a millionaire through a mix of street smarts and ruthlessness. In 2014, Ihsan Mukuk gathered a group of dissatisfied rockers around him, aiming to open his own Angels branch. Initially, Schnitzel Walter had no issues with Mukuk's plans to expand, but he later changed his mind and took away Mukuk's lucrative bouncer jobs at brothels and trendy clubs. This led to a confrontation at Frankfurt's Katana Club, where 40 men led by Mukuk stormed the place. A police investigation revealed that one of Schnitzel's men shot at Mukuk, who survived by sheer luck. Angels shooting at Angels was unprecedented, though they downplayed it as harmless. In every big family, there are quarrels, and this was just a quarrel at the door, they said. Mukuk's power base is primarily among immigrants, and he has allied with new gangs like the Ottomans and Guerrilla Nation. At a boxing event in Offenbach, he publicly presented his allies, saying, "Good people are always good friends, right? We know them, we know everybody." These men are now his life insurance within the Hell's Angels. The police refer to these groups as rocker-like groups, which allow Mukuk to bolster his ranks without making them full members, avoiding the associated obligations like support in disputes, injuries, or detentions. Mukuk is a major topic at the 2016 Hell's Angels World Run in Warsaw, where members from around the globe gather to discuss the club's future. Specifically, they talk about Mukuk, who is accused of breaking the rules again. Despite this, he is pardoned once more. After his pardon, he is seen greeting police officers familiar with the biker scene, which is against club rules. There's a rule: no communication with the police. Any problems? No problems, they said. Actions like these infuriate the older Hell's Angels members. Mukuk continually ignores the long-standing rules of the club. In Berlin, Mukuk attends a funeral for the new gang Guerrilla Nation, which competes with the Berlin Hell's Angels and has even clashed with them. This doesn't bother Mukuk, even though, as a Hell's Angel from Frankfurt, he is not supposed to seek supporters in Berlin. This goes against the interests of the Berlin Angels. Nonetheless, Mukuk leads the funeral march in Berlin, spending 20 minutes at the cemetery contemplating death. When asked how he wants to die, he responds, "I hope I don't die at all, as long as no one shoots at me." However, Atom Mouse, a 45-year-old, was shot 17 times at close range, and his murder remains unsolved to this day.